everyone. Thanks again for tuning into Sim's Workshop here on YouTube. I hope you're all having a great day. I hope the lighting's okay for you. It's like another dark and stormy day here in sunny South Florida. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Winter, White, and Wicked by Shannon Ditmore. This was one of my more highly anticipated reads this year because, the blurb on the description, the tagline for this novel is Mad Max Fury Road meets Frozen. I think Mad Max Fury Road's great. I love Frozen, and I do love the original Snow Queen tales, so that immediately drew me to this novel. So, I kind of had a lot of expectations when I was reading this novel, or when I first got this novel, my expectations for it were a little high. Kind of regret that now. I do want to thank the publisher for giving me an advance copy of the novel. It just was not my... See, that's wrong. It was my cup of tea. Everything about it screamed, Cynthia, pick me up, read me. That's what this book said to me. So when I got the arc of it, I was elated. I was so happy about it. And then I started to read it. And the opening isn't bad. I do love the opening of the story. It does give a solid foundation for the novel. It does give the reader a chance to understand the world, understand the history, mythology, and the fantasy of the world. And it does a good job of highlighting who Sylvie is versus Lenore. So it's a good opening. However, the pacing after that, I'm sorry, reading this book at times really did put me to sleep. In fact, I started reading it when I was at work, and it was a slow day at work. I had just finished reading another book, so my immediate thought was, oh, you know what, I'm going to start reading this. And I'm reading it, and after half an hour, I had to put it down because I just got so tired. At first I kind of chalked it up to, I'm at work, it's early, maybe I just didn't sleep well. But the more I read this book, the less energy I had, in a way. It made me tired. The pacing of the story was just very slow. And I feel like it's a whole lot of nothing. And I hate that because I was so looking forward to reading this novel. And yet the story and the way it moves, the storytelling, the pacing, it just was not engaging to me as a reader. It moved so slowly. And I expected more. I expected so much more from it because Sylvie has, she meets a smuggler. He tells her, you help me get my haul to the rebel camp and I'll convince your sister to leave the rebel camp and go back home with you. By the way, don't like Mars at all. I think he's a dick. He's a manipulative, lying bastard. But I will talk a little bit more about that and him in a few minutes. I just want to talk a little bit more about the story. So that's how the story really picks up. And in order for her to get the haul to the rebel camp, she has to take the Shiv Road. It's a very dangerous, treacherous road, especially with the end of winter. Winter is around this. The winter spirit is controlling the island. It is constantly winter. But you have less winter, when anyone up north knows that there's winter and then there's winter, where everything's just slush and water and wet and cold. And then you have snowy winter, where there's snow and it's cold and it's magical. So you have winter and then you have winter. Anyone who is a northerner can understand that. And that's kind of how this island is. It's basically always winter, but there's less winter when the snow melts and the ice melts, and she's racing against this time frame because it's almost the end of magical winter and the ice road is going to be melting soon, or turning to slush, making it way more hazardous and not safe to travel. So given that premise, you really think it's going to be a high stakes, high tension story, but it's not. Sorry, I dropped my remote. It's not. And I really found that to be disappointed. I really wanted more from it because, again, you think Mad Max Fury Road, you think high stakes, you think high tension, you think fast paced. It was none of those things. There, there is high tension in it. There are high stakes, but they fall flat when the pacing is just so dun 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 slow. I expected more. I expected it to be a little better and a little bit more engaging, and I didn't get that from the story, which is probably why it put me to sleep repeatedly. I feel like that's harsh, but it is my reality. This story did put me to. There were so many times I'm reading this story, and then I'm just out. I'm knocked out, and my Bookly app is still going, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't even know how long I actually read this book. So I end up just deleting the session off my Bookly app. I did that many times because I just kept falling asleep when I was reading it. The only time I didn't fall asleep reading it was when I was at work. I would just stop. I would do squats or something, anything to get my energy and my blood, my heart racing and my, blood rushing, blood moving, and then I'd go back to reading it. It just really, it was lackluster for me. And like I said, I expected more. I just did. And it didn't help that the characters were also not very engaging. I think Sylvie has a lot of potential as far as the story goes. She has a stubbornness to her that limits her, but it doesn't make her an unappealing character. I think what really fails the story are the character dynamics and Mars. I hated Mars. I really did. I didn't like him at all. He's a manipulative, like I said, he's a manipulative jerk. There were so many times when I was reading this story that I just wanted Sylvie to kick him out of her rig and leave him to die in the snow. I hated him that much. He's not likable. I didn't find him likable at all. I didn't like how he spoke to Sylvie. I really hated how he was always... Yes, he knows more than her. Right. He knows more about her origins and her past and her connection to winter and the winter spirit. He knows more than her. Yeah, we get it. Great. But he talks down to Sylvie all the time, and it pissed me off because in my head I'm just like, you can't treat her like she's stupid just because she doesn't know the truth. He just hoards it over her like, oh, well, I know more than you. She's like, okay, well, then tell her what you know. Yes, she's a stubborn character, and yes, he does make the point of saying, would you listen to me? No, she would not have listened to him. But at least she would have known. And at least at the end of the novel, it probably would have made their dynamic more appealing to me because at least he was being honest about most of the things. Yes, there were some things he did need to lie to her about, only one or two things, but he lied to her about almost everything, and he kept things from her, and I really hate when characters keep things from other characters. I think that's one of my pet peeves. I just thought he was a dick. He's just talking down to her the entire time, and he treats her like she's stupid and like she's selfish, and like she is selfish. And instead of just telling her and educating her, he just lets her go on and then acts all like, oh, well, I know more than you. It's like, but educate her, you stupid jerk. So I didn't like that at all. It really turned me off from their dynamic. Like I said, I really wanted her to kill him. I wanted her to just leave him out there to die in the snow by the winter spirit. So the other, Ken and Hilda, they grew on me. And the dynamics did get stronger, I'll say that, for the story. They all start off really rough around the edges, I think. I don't think it was completely fleshed out how their dynamics were supposed to work. But I ultimately did find the story to be boring. But those dynamics, they did grow. They, for the most part, they did develop and they did grow. It just took a long while. Like I said, this book, it wasn't that long, but God, did it bore me. And I really wish it hadn't, because I was really looking forward to reading this book. I saw the synopsis, and I'm like, oh, I need this. Like, I need this. So I am thankful for the publisher giving me a chance to read it. I just ended up not liking it, which sucks. I hate when I get this book that I've been waiting for forever, and then I'm just kind of let down by it. It sucks. I really am heartbroken by that fact, and by the fact that this movie the fact that this novel just bored me. And I really wish it hadn't bored me. But you know what? That's just my opinion of the novel. If you like Mad Max Fury Road or Frozen, definitely give this novel a chance, because your interpretation of it could be completely different from mine. You might like Mars. You might not be put off by the characterization or anything like that, or the pacing. Not every book is for everyone. There are a lot of books out there that I've loved that some people haven't. There are a lot of books out there that I hate that other people love. So definitely, if you like either of those things or both of them, give this novel a shot. I'm never not going to recommend a book, because our interpretations of literature and art are so vastly different. We all interpret things and like different things. So, pick it up. This was Winter, White, and Wicked by Shannon Ditmore. I will include a link in the description to purchase the book if you are interested in purchasing it. If not, if you're a little hesitant, I definitely recommend checking out this book from your local library. I'm going to go ahead and give this book 2.5 stars because it was okay. Bored me, but at least that ending pissed me off, though. After all that build-up between her and Winter, you thought there would be something explosive happening, and it kind of ends with the cliche line, "Welcome to the rebellion." Sorry, had to say it. Really bothered the crap. I hated that ending. I like I said, I expected more. So it's lucky it's getting the 0.5 star. So Winter, White, and Wicked, 2.5 stars. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I hope you all will continue to support my channel here on YouTube by liking this video and subscribing to it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. So, happy reading.